David Brooks Confession. My name is David Brooks. I am 18 years old and I live at 145 Peck with my wife, Bridget. I never actually killed anyone, but was in the room when they happened and was supposed to help if something went wrong. The first killing that I remember happened when Dean was living at the Yorktown house. There were 2 boys there, and I left before they were killed. But Dean told me that he had killed them afterwards. I don't know where they were buried or what their names were. The first few that Dean killed were supposed to have been sent off somewhere in California. The first killing that I remember being present at was on 6363 San Felipe. That boy was Reuben Haney. Dean and I were the only people involved in that one, but Dean did the killing, and I was just present when it happened. I also remember 2 boys that were killed at the Place 1 apartments on Magnum. They were brothers, and their father worked next door when they were building some more apartments. I was present when Dean killed them by strangling them, but again, I did not participate. I believe that I was present when they were buried, but I don't remember where they were buried. The youngest of these 2 boys is the youngest that was killed, I believe. I remember one boy who was killed at Dean's house on Columbia. This was just before Wayne Henley came into the picture. Dean kept this boy around the house for about 4 days before he killed him. I don't remember his name, but we picked him up on 11th and Rutland. I think I helped bury this boy also, but I do not remember where it was. This was about 2 years ago. It really upset Dean to have to kill this boy because he really liked him. A boy by the name of Glass was also killed at the Columbia address. I had taken him home one time, but he wouldn't get out because he wanted to go back to Dean's. I took him back and Dean ended up killing him. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure whether it was Glass I took home or another boy, but I do believe it was Glass. It was during the time that we were living on Columbia Street that Wayne Henley got involved. Wayne took part in getting the boys at first, and later he took an active part in the killings. Wayne seemed to enjoy causing pain, and he was especially sadistic at the Schuler address. Most of the killings that occurred after Wayne came into the picture involved all 3 of us. I still did not take part in the actual killing, but nearly always all 3 of us were there. Mark Scott was killed at the Schuler address. I had told yesterday in my witness statement about Mark Scott being at the Schuler house, but I did not say I was present, which I was. Mark had a knife, and he tried to get Dean. He swung at him with a knife, and caught Dean's shirt and barely broke the skin. He still had one hand tied. Dean grabbed the hand with the knife. Wayne ran out of the room and got a pistol, and Mark just gave up. Wayne killed Mark Scott, and I think that he strangled him. Mark was either buried at the beach or at the boathouse. There was another boy killed at Schuler. Actually, there were 2 this time. A boy named Billy Balk and another named Johnny, and I think his last name was Malone. Wayne strangled Billy, and he said, "Hey, Johnny," and when Johnny looked up, Wayne shot him in the forehead with a .22 caliber. The bullet came out of his ear, and he raised up, and about 3 minutes later, he said, "Wayne, please don't." Then Wayne strangled him, and Dean helped. It was while we were living on Schuler that Wayne and Dean got me down and started to kill me. I begged Dean not to kill me, and he finally let me go. I had told about this in my witness statement yesterday, and that part of my statement was absolutely true. It was also at this address that they got Billy Ridinger, and what I said in my witness statement was true about him. I took care of him while he was there, and I believe the only reason he is alive now is because I begged them not to kill him. Wayne and Dean got one boy by themselves while we were on Schuler. It was a tall, skinny guy. I just happened to walk into the house, and there he was. I left before they killed this one. In the first apartment we lived in at Westcott Towers, I think there were 2 boys killed. These were young boys from the Heights areas, but I don't know their names. Wayne accidentally shot one of them. This was about 7 a.m. I was in the other room asleep when this happened. Dean told me that Wayne had just come in waving the .22 caliber and accidentally shot one of the boys in the mouth. The bullet went in, and you could see it beneath the skin. They didn't kill the boy right then. They killed these 2 boys later on that day. Dean moved to the Princessa Apartments on Wirt Road, and I remember him getting one boy there by himself. He wanted me to help him, but I wouldn't do it. I didn't want to mess with this one because I had someplace I wanted to go. So I tried to get him mad so that he would leave, but he wanted to stay. Dean grabbed the boy, and within 3 minutes of when he grabbed him, I was gone. At that time, I was using Dean's car, so I was in and out all the time. After the Princessa Apartments, Dean moved to Pasadena. I know of 2 that were killed there. One was from Baton Rouge, and one was a small boy from South Houston. I saw the boy from South Houston for about 45 minutes. I took him a pizza, and then I left, and he wanted me to come back. I wasn't there when either of the 2 boys were killed. I did come in just after Dean had killed the boy from Baton Rouge. That one was a different boy than from the blonde boy. In all, I would guess that there are between 25 and 30 boys killed, and they were buried in 3 different places. I was present and helped bury many of them, but not all of them. Most of them were buried at the boat stall. There are 3 or 4 buried at Sam Rayburn, I think. I am sure that there are 2 up there. On the first one at Sam Rayburn, I helped them bury him. Then the next one we took to Sam Rayburn. When we got there, Dean and Wayne found that the first one had come to the surface, and neither a foot or hand was above ground. When they buried this one a second time, they put some type of plastic sheet on top of him to keep him down. The third place that they were buried was on the beach at High Island. This was right off the Winnie exit, where the road goes to the beach. You turn east on the beach road and drive until the pavement changes, which is about a quarter or a half mile, and the bodies are on the right-hand side of the highway, about 15 or 20 yards off the road. I never actually buried one here, but I always drove the car. I know that of the graves had the large rock on top of it. I think that there are 5 or more bodies buried at this location. The bodies at the beach are in a row down the beach for perhaps half a mile or so. I am going to show officers where this location is, and will try to locate as many of the graves as possible. I regret that this has happened, and I am sorry for the kids' families. I am making this statement of my own free will and have not promised anything. Signed, David.